Hello, everybody. Welcome into an incoming call here. I'm going to get this comment pasted. And we're really excited this evening to be joined, actually, wherever you are, morning, evening, afternoon, or night. Welcome to another incoming call here on the Olympics handle. I'm Nick McCarville, and no, I'm not the one that we're focusing on here this evening because it's actually this guy. Nathan Chen is joining us fresh off of his win at Skate America, having gone now 4 times in a row. We're going to talk to Nathan about that, and he's going to hit the request button to join us here. Nathan obviously is an Olympian, a 2-time world champ, and is now a 4-time Skate American champion. There he is. Let's bring in the champ. Hey,
Hey guys,
how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Congratulations.
Hey, thank you very much.
It looks like we're going to guess you're still in the arena if the mask is
I
on.
indeed, I am still in the arena. I'm actually in the media room right now, so there might be a little bit of background residual noise, but hopefully it'll quiet down in just a second.
No worries. Hey, well, Nathan, congratulations. Thank you for
Thanks.
taking the time to speak with us. And actually, I feel like the mask is really appropriate. And tell us what it's been like there, because you guys haven't had fans with you on site. It's been a strange experience, I'm guessing.
Right. So it's been interesting. Yeah, I mean, I'm really fortunate to have this opportunity. I think all the skaters are just really happy that we're at least given an opportunity to compete, a place to be able to feel safe about what we're doing, and to just be able to show off some of the work that we've been doing. I think this is, we're all really happy about that.
What was the atmosphere in the arena like? Because we were watching it from home, and I thought, I have to say, the TV product looked great. But I think you said yesterday it almost felt like the cardboard cutouts of people were like watching you as you skated.
Right. So yeah, in case you guys weren't aware, the rink that we're competing at right now is, of course, there's no audience, but in order to sort of resolve that, they put in a bunch of cardboard cutouts of the fans of people that I believe donated to U.S. figure skating, and um, honestly, it was helpful. I think that as soon as you walk in the arena and you see that there are objects in the stands, it kind of helps you just put yourself in like, oh, this is a competition. This is real. This is serious. Um, and then beyond that, it's just nice to be able to see some faces and be able to interact with something, since I feel like skating is a very interactive sport. Um, yes, the eyes did were a little bit eerie. They did follow you around the rink, and anywhere you went, they would be following you. But overall, it was a good experience, and I'm glad that we at least had something in the audience.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, I mean, you would have recognized some of those faces, the cardboard cutouts, right? Some of those people you
Right.
actually know.
Right, yeah. Some of my friends, some people that my boot technician was in there. Some fans that I've seen very regularly at competitions were there too. So that was a nice feeling.
Nathan, one theme that you guys have been talking about from Skate America is just kind of how you bring that energy onto the ice. You have no big crowd. They were playing some applause in the arena, but how did you feel like you were able to harness the energy that you have on the practice rink to the competition ice?
I mean, I think that we're all very used to competing, or not competing. Sorry, we're all very used to practicing without anyone watching us. Generally speaking, most of the time, there are only 2 or 3 people in the audience when we're practicing. And then coming into competition, obviously that's a little bit different, where you will tend to have a crowd. But I think just given the fact that we're used to doing programs and doing all these things without a crowd, didn't make this too strange of an experience. And also, we just had a lot of time prior to coming here, even knowing that there won't be audience, there will be cardboard cutouts, there will be silence throughout the program. I think the main difference is that while we're competing, I think skaters tend to draw from the energy of the audience, and we can very clearly hear what's going on in the audience. And especially when we're doing well, we feel that energy. And then if things aren't going quite so well, we still feel the support. So that was definitely lacking a little bit. But overall, it's just you're here to do your job and do the best that you can. And I think that's what everyone came here to do.
Yeah, and I'd have to imagine, I'm watching it on TV, and we were in that arena last year for Skate America. It's the same place. But what was the mental prep, or what did you feel like you had to do bringing yourself into that arena to know that some of that stuff wouldn't throw you off when you hit center ice?
I mean, at the end of the day, just trusting your training. Um, Fortunately, most of the elite athletes had quite a decent amount of time to train before this competition. Um, And it was, of course, given the pandemic, that was a bit of a concern heading into the early half of the season. But fortunately, again, mirroring what I just said, we had the opportunity to train as basically normal. And I think having that sort of mindset going into the competition helps. And knowing that this is still, an ISU, this is still a Grand Prix event. This is
Yeah.
still, a very important opportunity for us since, in the relation of the Olympics, this is like a tier 3 sort of qualifier. So this is still important to a lot of skaters. Um, and it's still a great opportunity, just given the fact that we haven't had any major competitions to compete at. Um, and I think that all of that combining together, puts us in the right mindset to be able to go into this competition with, whatever success we can get.
Okay, I don't want to get you in any trouble, but are you able to move into a space where you can take the mask off, or the mask stays on no matter where you are in the arena?
Mask stays off no matter where I am in the
Okay.
arena, unless I'm currently skating, but I don't think that's possible quite right now.
I mean, we should actually do that at some point, get you on the ice with your phone on, obviously. But hey,
Right.
let's talk about the action on the ice, because you win your fourth consecutive. Only Michelle Kwan and Todd Eldridge have done that in Skate America history. You've now got, I believe it's 11 Grand Prix golds. You haven't lost since Pyeongchang. How do you kind of take some of what you felt from yourself on the ice this weekend? How do you sum up your competition?
Well, I mean, I'm thrilled with the results, and I actually didn't know that stat until now, so that's pretty cool. Those were my idols growing up, so it's pretty amazing to be able to at least try to match what they've accomplished. Obviously, still a long ways to go to do that entirely, but it's a good feeling to have. Competition in itself was all right. Made some mistakes that I definitely can clean up for future competitions. And things that I was thrilled about, things that I was a little disappointed at. But we're all human. We make mistakes. So I think that, it's something that I can take forward and work on to improve for the next couple competitions. But overall, again, this was a great opportunity for all of us, considering that, most, or not most, but a lot of sports have been canceled essentially because of the pandemic. And it just kind of, helps remind us elite athletes that we are, in a very privileged situation where we're able to do these events, where we're able to continue, performing the things that we've been working on. And that, that's a great feeling to have.
Yeah, that's really well said. It's good to remind ourselves kind of what other people are going through right now, especially, for you guys as athletes giving it your all, but obviously, understanding that it's a tough time in the world for all of you guys at home. So we're wishing everyone a safe and healthy existence right now and moving forward. Nathan, I think a lot of people felt like, oh, he is human. That quad sow, it turned into a double, and then that final triple axel, it went into a single. I mean, that's easy for us to say, but what were you mentally going through on the ice? And then how do you said a couple times on NBC and then in the press conference after that now you kind of have little things to work on when you go back to California?
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Both those jumps are typically like my nemesis sort of jumps. I'm not a big fan of edge jumps. Um, so I think, I was having a little bit of trouble with those jumps in the warm up. And I think that just got to my head a little bit. And
Mm.
truthfully, I don't want to make excuses for myself. I made a mistake. Got to own up to that and fix that for next time. However, it would be nice to. I still haven't had a chance to look over film and figure out exactly, technically what went wrong. But there's of course things that I can do differently in preparation in case things don't feel right in the warm up. What do I do to put myself in the right mental frame to make these jumps happen? And then beyond that, just trust myself a little bit more. I think I had some doubts going into some of those jumps, knowing that I can do it, but things hadn't. My consistency was a little off, or things weren't feeling quite right. So just trusting myself a little bit more. But it will definitely require a couple days of analysis before I'm able to determine exactly what I need to do. But again, this is something that I can definitely fix on, and looking forward to future competitions that I'll be able to sort of redeem myself on those jumps.
Is that something, I like that you said that you're going to go back and look at some of the footage to see? Is that something you make a regular practice of no matter how the skate goes, is watching yourself back to try to learn?
I try to. I mean, I think that how it feels on the ice doesn't necessarily translate to how it looks on the ice. Sometimes you
Yeah.
feel amazing and you're like, oh God, that looked terrible. What did I just do? And other times it's the opposite. So it's nice to be able to just go back and be able to, tick off things that I can improve on or things that I liked that I want to maintain. And then of course, when it comes to technique and I can see, how it corresponds to with how I felt in the jump. Sometimes I'm like, oh, I felt a little bit off axis. And this is because my shoulder or my arm was in the wrong position or whatever. and then I watch, and I can either reaffirm that was correct, or I can be like, oh no, actually that was a wrong assumption, and I have to do this XYZ thing to fix the jump. So yeah, film is always useful.
You said this weekend that what drives you is you come from a family who's always pushing to do more and better. And I think that we
Mm-hmm.
see that in your skating. Is that something, especially in a season like this, Nathan, where we're not sure, exactly what the Grand Prix final looks like? Obviously, we hope that you have U.S. championships, no four continents. How do you kind of stay within that getting better as you go mentality when there's a lot of uncertainties right now in skating?
I think at the end of the day, as an athlete, especially an Olympic, like in theory, qualified athlete, meaning athletes that can participate in the Olympic Games, I think our sort of end goal is always the Olympics. It's the driving force behind a lot of what we do and a lot of the decisions that we make. Um, and as many people know, the Olympics are just around the corner. There's about a year and a half or so before the next games, before the Winter Games. Not the next games, the Winter Games. So that's like that's definitely the largest motivating and driving force I think behind most of the athletes right now. As direct logistics go from this season, the most immediate competition will be nationals, and that assuming everything sort of stays relatively similar, or of course, hopefully the pandemic starts releasing its grip on the world. We'll have a more or less normal nationals. And if it's enclosed in a bubble again, at least we have the opportunity. So hopefully that will still happen. And the biggest event that I'm looking forward to hearing about will be the Grand Prix final. Although it's been postponed, that's still an Olympic test event. Where it'll take place in Beijing. It'll be at the arena that the Olympics will be at. So it'll be nice to be able to see, scope out the venue, understand like how logistics run throughout that competition, to sort of prepare myself for, in theory, qualifying. My apologies. Uh, there you go. To
That's all right. Was
yeah,
that mom calling you?
no, that was a 20% battery. So
Oh, okay.
hopefully survive through this. But anyways,
Yeah.
as I was saying, Grand Prix final is an Olympic test event, so hoping that will at least happen this season, so that we get a little bit of an idea. But if not, fingers crossed the games happen, and assuming that happens, we're all doing the best that we can to prepare for it.
There's been a lot of talk in men's skating now for the last couple of years about the quad axel and a quintuple, and technically sort of, we've watched you do, a multitude of quads in the free skate, especially. Do you have specific goals when it comes to your technical side of skating, or you're more focused on kind of what you're saying about Beijing and about kind of bettering yourself on the competition ice?
Hmm. I mean, I think this competition kind of goes to show that even though we have these elements, they won't
Yeah.
necessarily show up every time we do them. So it's good to continue working on that consistency, especially given that we haven't competed in a while, to just sort of, use this as a base in which to grow on. As for quad, axle, and quints, I mean, I would love to see people start working on that. It would be really, really interesting to continue trying to push the sport forward as much as we can. And I think honestly, at this point, like, even if you may or may not see it in the next couple of years, you definitely will see attempts and potential like successes in for next quad potentially, next 4 years, because of the fact that most of the guys in the junior levels and even girls and juniors are doing quads.
Yeah.
At the time that I was a junior, I was barely doing triples and triple axel. So the fact that skating has already progressed this much in such a young within such a young age, I think that you'll see these guys and these girls start attempting, bigger jumps. But in the near future, I mean, it'd be interesting to see how far we're physically going to be able to take our bodies to
Yeah.
rotate around. But I don't know exactly where that will be. But yeah, something to sort of consider and look forward to.
Hey, so how's it been for you to be? You and I spoke earlier this spring, obviously, when the pandemic was kind of first settling in on people's lives. How's it been
Mhm.
for you to be back in California, back with Wrath, back, I think, in a training environment where you're obviously it's different with COVID, but you're really familiar
Mhm.
with a lot of your training mates, you're friends with them. Do you feel like that maybe has been somewhat of a blessing in disguise for you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, uh, for those that like follow my career, I was at college for the past 2 years, but given the pandemic, I decided to take a little bit of a break, since everything was online. And personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that, and I commend everyone who is currently still doing online.
Yeah.
That seems like a lot. So, yeah, I'm currently taking some time off of school just to focus on skating in the next Olympics, and it's been great. I mean, I train with the Mariah Bell. She just won the women's event at Skate America, which I'm really proud of. I'm really proud of her. She puts in a lot of work. She works very hard, so I'm really proud of her. And yeah, just having that sort of elite atmosphere is really, really beneficial, I think, to us overall as skaters. Continues to push us day in, day out. But I think also, just to take a larger perspective, and I've sort of mentioned this in other media, just I think that as elite athletes, we're so single-minded on like, okay, we need to train, we need to do this and that, and this is the competition and all of that. But given that this is, the pandemic has been affecting everyone, and some athletes are complaining, oh, maybe we didn't have the ice time or whatever, we should all just take a step back and realize how fortunate we are to at least have that be our only concern, being like, oh, where are we going to skate, rather than, a lot of other people that are struggling a lot more, I think, given the pandemic, who need to take care of their families, or people who need to consider their own health or their own lives. And that is their main concern. So I think that we're all, as elite athletes, quite privileged to be able to have these sort of more or less minute matters be such a big concern in our lives.
Yeah. So now, does that mean you're not in school whatsoever right now, online or classes or anything like that?
Yeah, so I'm still auditing some classes at other academic sites, just to still, somewhat stay academically engaged. But
Yeah.
the majority of my time is spent on the ice.
Do we need to find you an iPhone charger? How you doing?
Let's see how I'm doing. We're 18%. I think we're doing all right.
Okay, okay. I've got, let me see if you can give me responses here in one sentence, and then we're going to move
Okay.
to, I think, a fun game to finish. But what
Okay.
is one skill that you feel like you've picked up during the pandemic? One new skill?
That's a good question. I have, huh. I don't know. I mean, I've been spending a little bit more time reading. I've been spending more time like playing instruments that I've not played in quite a while. And I think just being able to sit patiently for a longer extended period of time and consume books is definitely something that I think I've made good use of during this time.
Nice, good work. What is one thing that you're grateful for in 2020?
Um, just being able to, thank you. Sorry, I just got a charger, so we're good.
Oh,
Um,
perfect.
hopefully I can
Like,
find an outlet around here. All right, I'm
I
gonna
love this.
move locations, so
We're
we're
on
going
the
to
hunt with a mask-wearing Nathan Chen to find
absolutely.
an outlet. I mean, this is real life, people, right? They're
We got an
smart. They're just
outlet,
like us.
got an outlet, got a charger. We're golden. Okay.
I'm still, Nathan, I'm still waiting for your mom to call you mid-live
Oh
too.
God. Yeah. I mean, that's probably gonna happen. So expecting that. Um, sorry. Could you repeat the question? I got a little distracted
What
there.
you're, yeah, in this very strange year that we're living in, what are you most grateful for in 2020?
I mean, I'm grateful for the fact that my family, my friends, everyone close around me are staying healthy, staying happy, staying positive, doing the best that they can given, the constraints of the pandemic. And of course, being again privileged enough to be able to have ice, to be able to have good friends that are able to continue to push me on the ice. A coach that's also there to motivate me and get me into the position that I want to competitively. And of course, my own health that's a given. So I think those are all the main things, and I'm also just really impressed with how everyone's staying strong, staying as motivated as they can, doing everything they can to stay healthy, to keep the community healthy, and just be a better society and a better community at large.
Yeah, Nathan, I actually know the room that you're sitting in. Do you mind flipping your camera just to show people like this is where Nathan Chen
Absolutely.
is? He's sitting in the media room.
Exactly.
That's
So this is the media room, guys. This is where we do our press conferences. Here, I'll just uncharge really quick. This is the yeah. So this is where
yeah,
press conferences happen. We're socially distanced at three
right.
different stages. This is where we do
Oh, so is that
our
the mix zone
individual
right
presses.
there?
Yeah, this is the mix zone right here. This is where we get zoomed in.
Okay.
So that's our setup here, and yep, that's the media. That's the media room right now. Pretty nice
And
situation.
and you're just chilling, sitting on the floor with a world
Exactly.
champion.
This is my spot right here.
Okay, so I'm thinking about the holidays coming up, right?
Yep.
Can you think of the best or worst gift that you've ever received in the holidays? You don't have to name names, but
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
just,
Um, Honestly, I've received pretty solid gifts. I really can't complain about the gifts that I've received. Most of My brother likes to travel, and he tends to, go all over the world. So he usually brings me back something exciting, a little gadget or something that, reminds him of that place that'll help me, sort of remind myself about his travels. Um, and generally speaking, yeah, my family's pretty solid with gifts. Even if it's just like a gift card or something, it's usually very applicable.
Nice. What is your favorite cheat food? Maybe during the holidays or just in general? What do you indulge in?
Good question. I'm a big fan of donuts, and I just found a new donut place in California called Sidecar,
Nice.
that has amazing donuts. Yeah, that's probably my go-to cheat, or like tea, like bubble tea or something. Uh, I don't know. That's pretty. Yeah, I would say those two. Good, little cheat
Yeah, I haven't
meals.
had good bubble tea in a while, so you've reminded me. I got to get some.
Yeah.
Lastly, I know we're far away, but what would
Mhm.
a resolution be, or what would something for 2021 that you'd want to instill in your life?
Um, that's a good question. Definitely, some more soul searching and reflecting before I come to a really good answer for that. But I think as of now, I've been trying to spend a little bit more time to read and stay engaged with what's going on socially in the US, especially, and also historically, where we are as a country. I think just being able to be a little bit more engaged socially would be great. And I'm, very impressed with how people are, doing everything they can to fight for what they believe in. As well as, I saw like some numbers of the youth going out to vote, which I think is very impressive considering in 2016 that was a pretty terrible turnout for the youth community. So I'm really impressed with everyone doing that. And as much as I can continue to stay engaged, stay educated, know my place in society, and just be as positive as I can.
Amen. Well said, Nathan.
Thanks.
Okay, we are going to play what we hope is a fun game for you. You have shown us on the ice that it feels like you can do anything. And so we have come up with a game called Is There
Oh
Anything
gosh,
Chen Can't Do? Anything Nathan Chen can't
love
do.
it.
And Nathan, we put one of our best Photoshop guys on the job here, and we're going
Awesome.
to pull up some skills, and you're going to tell us how good is Nathan Chen at guitar. You actually are a pretty good musician, right?
I physically am capable of playing the guitar. That being said, I'm not like the best at it, but I enjoy doing it. I definitely am not a good singer, but at least I can enjoy a nice singer. So this is okay in regards to my capabilities.
What's your best instrument? Isn't it ukulele?
I'm okay at I started piano, and I definitely have like the most experience with piano since I started when I was like a little kid. But then I stopped when I was like 12, 13, and I haven't played since like till I like turned 18. So, uh, yeah, piano's probably my most comfortable instrument.
Okay, I'm loving this one. I think this is
Oh
Danelle
god,
Leva, but it's your face on
I love it.
Danelle in London 2012. How are you? You were a gymnast way back when.
Yeah, yeah. I did gymnastics when I was a kid as well, and as a supplement to skating. Never really took off, but enjoyed doing it. For those that are involved with gymnastics or no gymnastics, like I believe I went all the way to level 9, and then kind of failed as a level
Really?
9 gymnast and decided to stop. Um, but yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. I feel like I mean, obviously I'm more geared towards skating, but I feel like as like the fear component of skating versus gymnastics, I have like much less fear as it comes to like learning new skills of skating, whereas I was like very afraid of learning new skills in gymnastics. So that definitely was a major roadblock. But yeah,
I mean, maybe, LA 2028, we should get you on the gymnastics team.
I mean, maybe something a little easier first, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, what about your chef skills? How good is Nathan Chen in the kitchen?
I've been trying to learn a little bit more. I don't believe I'm the best, but I like grew up in a family of five, and of course my parents are from China, so like they have very a broad knowledge of Chinese cuisine. So I've been trying to like get them to teach me some stuff like write down recipes so it can stay in the family a little bit. So I've been doing a little bit of that, but my turnouts are not always great.
Same. What's your like go-to dish? Like I'm always like chicken, pasta, veggies is like the easiest thing to make with some sort of sauce. What do you usually do?
Uh-huh. Um, I mean, not to flex, but I can actually make dumplings now, so that's a
Okay.
pretty big step up in my life. No, I think yeah. I mean, during the pandemic, I also like spent a lot of time on TikTok, although not maybe the most proud of that. But there were quite a few recipes that are quite simple that I picked up. Like there's this, like a pasta dish that was very easy, as well as like some other like little small appetizers that are more or less easy to make. So that's what I've been
Okay,
doing.
we need a Nathan Chen TikTok cooking series.
No, 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 no. Yeah. I mean, we'll see.
Okay, I love again. Props to Ed on our team who made these. What about Nathan as a break dancer? You're a pretty good dancer.
I'm okay. But yeah, this is next level. I don't know if I'd be able to do that, but good stuff. I mean, also, by the way, I'm a terrible Photoshopper, so this is like very impressive to me.
Okay, so we go from break dancing to ballet, and you actually were a ballet
Beautiful.
dancer as a kid.
I did do ballet as a kid. Wasn't the biggest fan of ballet. I honestly went because I had really good friends that went to ballet, so I would just like hang out with them. But did it because my parents like basically forced me to. But I enjoyed it. It was cool. And hopefully, that translates to skating to some degree.
I know that this is one of your true loves is basketball, and I think you
Hmm.
actually brought a basketball with you to Vegas, right?
I did, yeah. I mean, I drove here, so I fortunately had room to pack a lot.
Nice. And have you played any ball when you've actually been in Vegas?
Just like dribbling around. I may have not been allowed to do this, but there's a court. Well, the Orleans Arena like can convert into a basketball court. So they like store the basketball hoops behind the seating areas.
Okay.
And I've been shooting on like the lowered hoops. But again, may have just I don't know thrown myself under the bus for that, but it was fun. Whatever. It is what it is.
Listen, you've kept your mask on for this whole thing in an empty room, so I
Yeah,
think you can get away with
fair
that.
enough.
What about, would you make a good astronaut? I guess I don't know what that would entail, but going to space?
I mean, I would love to, although I do wear contacts, and I'm pretty sure that that's not allowed to be an. If you wear glasses or contacts, you're not allowed to be an astronaut. But yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty amazing. Maybe through like Elon Musk's shuttle at some point in the future. Who knows?
And I know that this is both your father and your sister have been big in the science world, but how would you be in the lab itself?
I don't know. It's a good question. Hopefully competent. That would be my number one goal. I don't know how competent I would be, but yeah, I guess sometime in the future I'll figure out if that's a pathway for me or not.
Okay. I mean, I love that you shouted out how good the graphics were, so Ed's gonna be
Yeah, the
happy
graphics were
with
great, so
that.
congrats there.
Thank you for playing. I've tried to say this a million times. Is there anything Nathan Chen can't do? It doesn't roll
Love
off
it.
the tongue well. You guys, this has been an absolute pleasure. Nathan, let's close out with a couple fan questions
Of course.
from people. Barbara on Twitter is asking, how are you keeping your positivity up in this challenging time?
I mean, I think through social media, you're able to see a lot of positivity and negativity, but if you gravitate towards the positivity of the communities, the strength of the communities, things that people are doing to make their lives happier or better, or the people around around them, if the lives around them happier, I think those are all great things to sort of mimic and mirror, and definitely what I've been trying to do, both in the skating world and the world at large, just to, see how we can be better members and contributors to society. And I think through doing that and like having more empathy, we end up being a lot more positive. And as much as I say that, of course, I've been hypocritical of that, and sometimes found myself being extremely negative. But as much as we can, try to find the positives in everything.
Amy on Twitter is wondering, did you notice, or you said you hear the crowd when you're on the ice, when
Right.
hit your opening quad triple combination, do you notice that there's not fans sort of reacting to that?
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think that the most notable times are definitely when you are doing tricks, when people typically applause, and then also like near the end of the program, because that's when the energy starts building, the music starts building, the people generally start, giving energy out, and I think most athletes definitely like respond to that quite well and respond very positively to that. So, interesting to not have that there, but again, we train in a environment that doesn't have that, so we're quite used to it.
Okay, I love this one from Tatiana, and I don't know if you saw this. Did you see Serena Williams shout you out as her favorite figure skater?
I did. That was very cool.
And I mean, I don't know. Have you watched Serena? Like, what's your relationship with Serena?
Oh, I mean, I'm a big fan of her. I've never met her, so hopefully in the near future I'll be able to meet her. I mean, she's the GOAT, someone that is an extremely huge role model. You know, I actually picked up a little bit of tennis during quarantine or during the the months that I was a little bit off the ice. My coach is like a big tennis player, so we ended up playing tennis with him a little bit. Um, and yeah, like I mean, it's incredible to see what she does and how much she's able to be a role model to young black girls, and even just to the like population at large, being able to see how she's able to come
Yeah.
through, hardships and still continue to succeed. And there's a lot of doubters, a lot of haters, and how she's able to put that behind her and still achieve her dreams and her goals. Pretty incredible. And I know that she has a daughter now, so if at any point, they would like to come, just speaking out loud, if she would like to come to the rink to skate, I would be happy to give them a tour around the ice. So there's that.
Okay, I think we should definitely make that happen for sure. And did
I
you just
love
say
that.
that you and Raph have played tennis together?
Yes, my coach and I have been playing tennis together, and it's been. I mean, I definitely don't want people to watch that. Like that's super embarrassing. But yeah, we have definitely been doing that.
Oh man. And you did mention TikTok. There's been a lot of comments of people asking you what your TikTok is, but maybe it's private or maybe you don't post yourself.
I don't have a TikTok, but I do. I mean, the algorithm has definitely recognized that I am there always, but I do not actually have an account. I'm a
What is it?
secret lurker.
Yeah, what's it serving you? Like basketball, cooking, like what kind of content are you consuming?
I guess as the TikTok crowd calls it, alt TikTok. It's like honestly, I take it as like Vine part two, where like just very funny people coming in with very funny content. And I definitely spend a little bit too much time on that app.
It's a slippery slope, the
It
TikTok
is.
slope. It really
It
is.
is.
Hey, well, listen, thank you so much for your time. Nathan Chen's a four-time now consecutive Skate America champion. Hey, let's close out with just you've been so well spoken this whole time, but we appreciate you taking the time, obviously, inside the arena, the mask on, the safety, all of that. I know it's been a challenging week. It's been a challenging sort of year for everyone. What sort of message do you want to pass on to? We've got over 600 people watching right now, and I know many
Mhm.
will watch hereafter. What would you like to say to them?
I mean, I just my heart goes out to everyone that has been struggling through this time, and I hope that through whatever that may be, we are all able to find some positivity and some motivation to continue trudging forward. And I give extreme respect and credits to everyone that has been doing everything they can for social justice, that have been, standing up for what they believe in, standing up for who they are. And I hope that through all of this we're able to see some change. And as skating goes, thank you guys for supporting skating, supporting all the athletes. We put a lot of time and effort into this sport, and it feels great to be able to feel respected and to recognize that this is not all for nothing. And I think we'd all definitely share that sentiment. So thank you guys for supporting, and I hope to be able to do this again in the future and be able to reach out and be able to communicate to you guys all in the future. So thanks, guys.
Awesome. We're going to work on the Nathan Chen and Serena collaboration
I
at some
love it.
point soon. Nathan, thanks
Amazing.
so much. Congratulations.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for
See you
having
later.
me. Bye,
Thanks.
guys.
All right. Awesome there to get Nathan Chen. He's a two-time world champion, obviously, in figure skating, an Olympic bronze medalist in the team event, and he just won his fourth consecutive Skate America. You can find all of that coverage on olympicchannel.com. Thank you guys for joining this. We're going to make sure that we give you full Nathan Chen coverage throughout this figure skating season. It's an unprecedented one in figure skating. With Skate America this week, Skate Canada has been canceled next week. And then we're hopefully back onto the Grand Prix. As Nathan said, maybe a Grand Prix final rescheduled in Beijing. We're not sure, but we really appreciate Nathan coming on. And all of you, make sure you follow us on social media. I'm Nick McCarville. Thank you so much for joining us. Please, as Nathan said, stay safe, and we'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.